Evening, everyone, and welcome to The Next Revolution. Just look what they've become, these self-righteous, sanctimonious Democrats who never stop lecturing everyone about defending our democracy. They have become what they say they despise: desperate, divisive demagogues, failing on the economy, failing on crime, failing at the border. So now they're flailing around for anything that could save their skins in November, no matter how much damage they do to the country in the process. It is the exact opposite of what they promised.
My whole soul is in this, bringing America together, uniting our people, uniting our nation. I will be a president for all Americans, all Americans. So I will fight as hard for those who did not support me as for those who did. We must end this uncivil war that pits red against blue, rural versus urban, conservative versus liberal.
Your whole soul is in this. For decades, you were just a corrupt, mediocre machine politician. Then you sold your soul to the far-left activists who run your party, and now to rile up your base, you're totally abandoning the promise you ran on. End this uncivil war? From day one, you have incited it, you total charlatan, labeling your political opponents enemies of the state, parents who disagree with your policies, domestic terrorists. There is no issue too raw, too sensitive, too divisive that Biden won't try to exploit for partisan advantage. He did it with race.
Do you want to be on the side of Dr. King or George Wallace? Do you want to be on the side of John Lewis or Bull Connor? Do you want to be on the side of Abraham Lincoln or Jefferson Davis?
Now he's doing it with abortion. He's doing it with sexual orientation and gender identity.
What happens if you have a state changes the law saying that children who are LGBTQ can't be in classrooms with other children?
What? Nobody's proposing that anywhere. It is pure culture war fear-mongering. You might even call it disinformation. Quick, someone tell Scary Poppins. The Democrats and the media keep saying Republicans are stoking a culture war. Republicans are these people, Republicans.
You think for a second same-sex marriage is safe in the United States of America? They're coming after you.
Once you allow this kind of extreme power to take hold, you have no idea who they will come for next.
They're coming for you next. What disgusting, reckless, divisive fear-mongering. Republicans stoking the culture war. Give me a break. Of course, the most juvenile, the most irresponsible culture war demagoguery came from that well-known Republican, Eric Swalwell. The Republicans won't stop with banning abortion. They want to ban interracial marriage. Oh, right. The black conservative justice married to a white woman wants to ban his own marriage. This Democrat governor made up yet another scare story.
If the Supreme Court goes through with this ruling to overturn Roe v. Wade, it will put the right of every American to make their own private medical decisions in jeopardy.
Oh, the right of every American to make their own private medical decisions. You mean like whether or not to get a vaccine? Do try and keep your arguments straight, guys. The truth is they have no argument on the issues that affect Americans every day. They've created an inflation crisis, a border crisis, a crime crisis, and they're terrified that that's what November's elections will be about. Friday's jobs report showed that under Biden, the labor force actually shrunk, even though we're coming out of the pandemic. People want practical solutions to the cost of living, what's going on in schools, on their streets. But all Biden and the Democrats want to give us is rage and division.
This MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history.
Did he really say that? The half of the country that voted for Trump, 74 million people, more extreme than the Ku Klux Klan. Does he even think before reading this stuff out? Do the kids who write this sophomoric drivel for him bother to weigh the impact of a president's words? Perhaps they really do think all Republican voters are evil, in which case they should be nowhere near our political system, let alone in the White House. The left today, the establishment, the Democrats, the media, they are truly unhinged.
My worry is that this is just the beginning. Next, they'll go after gay marriage and maybe the board, what is it, Brown versus Board of Education? Yeah. They already eroded our voting rights a little bit. Yeah. So I see fascism down the line here.
Oh, you see fascism down the line, do you? It is already here. Thanks to your guy. Putting the FBI onto parents who protest far-left Democrat schools policies, colluding with big tech and the media to meddle in an election, to cover up the family corruption of the regime candidate, now setting up an entire agency of government to police speech. They talk about fascism. Jen Psaki was asked what Biden thinks about Supreme Court justices being targets for potential violence in the wake of the leaked ruling.
So he doesn't care if they're protesting outside the Supreme Court or outside someone's private residence.
I don't have an official U.S. government position on where people protest.
No official government position on where people protest. These protests outside John Roberts' house, outside Brett Kavanaugh's house, they're against the law. But the Biden regime has no position on it. Meanwhile, if concerned parents speak up at public school board meetings, arrest them. They're domestic terrorists. Look what Biden and the Democrat demagogues have unleashed. Riot-proof fencing around the Supreme Court. Justices in hiding, fearing for their lives. Violent protests around the country. Are they mostly peaceful mobs, Jen Psaki? They've been planning all this for years.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions.
You will pay the price. You won't know what hit you. And these are the people who claim they're defending our democracy. 3 days and 11 hours after far-left Democrat extremists published the home addresses of Supreme Court justices for the purposes of violent intimidation, Biden has still not condemned it. He wants this. Biden wants rule by the mob, not the rule of law. This is not the behavior of a man who's fit to be the leader of the free world. He promised to be a unifying healer and ended up an authoritarian demagogue. As we said at the time, he should have been impeached over Afghanistan. Now, as he brazenly incites mobs to disrupt the proceedings of the Supreme Court for partisan ends, yes, Biden should be impeached for that. And yes, he deserves the shame that will forever attach to his name. Share this message at Steve Hilton X and at NextRevFNC, and share this message when we post it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.